Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Rock is a Lady's Modesty episode number 13 reaction, and this is the final episode of this season. Okay, the previous episode, yes, we were brought back to the live house and we were given an opportunity to play again, but we had to bring the people who we were going to have this contest against, and turns out these people were the boy band that we saw before. And these guys are absolutely horrible. They have no sense of shame, a lot of entitlement, and absolute bratty attitude, all in the same package. They're rich, they probably have never had to struggle. They think like everything they can get in their hands, all these things. Absolute horrible people, typical egotistical influencers basically. So yeah, and they had the whole thing with kind of, what do you call it, disrespected Lisa and her group. Lisa didn't like it, so she wanted to show them and the whole world that how Rock is something more to her. However, later on we got to see how Otoha didn't want to involve herself in any of that because she just wants to play herself and have fun herself. However, Lisa told her that I don't want anyone of like, I'm the same as you, but I don't want anyone respecting us. So I'm going to show them, and you just go along with me. I'll make sure that you have fun. That's what Lisa told her. So yeah, now we're gonna have this contest. However, the big problem is that not most, but I feel like the full fandom of these guys are, women, and they are not happy seeing a girls band on stage with them. So not only do we have to steal their audience away from them, which seems near impossible because yeah, I don't I it's very difficult to imagine that. Not only that, these people already hate Lisa's group from the very get-go. So it's like it's like all at the we're at the bottom completely, and we have to get at the top. So yeah, let's see what happens. Let us begin. Yeah, let's get started. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's begin. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Wait, we're not going to go with the other name? Bondage set. Uh, I was. Okay. Which is? So, what's the name? Right, here we go. For a moment, they were like, oh no, wait, we're supposed to not like them. They're like, oh damn, oh no, we're not supposed to like them. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it would have been better if you went later. Okay. All right, damn the camera. The camera did a whole 360. Oh, okay. She's all right. She's doing pretty well. Okay, is Otaha having fun? I don't know. She did say that. Lisa did say that. I'll make sure that you. Okay, here we go. This is Shiro's part. Okay. Yeah. I see. Yeah, I can see what they're doing. They're also making it easier for them to focus on a certain instrument. Like we saw like Lisa doing her solo, then it moved on to Tina, then Shiro. So it's easier for them to focus on something. Okay. Oh boy. Hmm. Where are those guys? Are they seeing this, or are they just in their waiting room, just being like, "Oh, we've won this game"? Yeah, Otha's not really still in her element. She's just drumming normally. Okay. Hmm. Sing a song with audience in mind. Hmm. Oh. Okay. 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 Are they going to off-screen the other group? I feel like that's what they, because I was like, shouldn't this group, like our group, be playing at the end for a crazy ending? The fact that they're playing at the beginning, I feel like they're going to off-screen the other group completely. Oh! Oh, here we go. Hmm. Mm. Yeah, she just focused on herself. Yeah. Yeah. Also, this is okay, I'll talk about it later. Damn. Okay. Right. She's crying. Alright, I feel like they're going to off screen the other group. Like, they'll be like, oh, they played. Okay. Yeah. Uh, Alright, what's the name? I need to. Rock Lady. Okay. Oh, I guess it makes sense. Like, because, they're Ojo-sama ladies and rock. Oh, they're there. Yeah, they were just chilling. Sure, bro. Yep, they are going to completely humiliate them, I feel like. I feel like they've left, probably. I doubt they've left. I don't know. Let's see. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually left. All the other audiences. Or maybe they'll realize how crap these guys are. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Yeah. Great. Here we go. Bro, get away. Get out of here. You absolute morons. Oh, yeah, they're leaving. Or no, they're just. They're like, yeah, we understand how crap these people are. Our group are. I'm gonna follow them. Yeah, nobody cares. Your music is ass. Comparing that to this. Hey, yo. Oh, Lord. That bassist, I want to dom. Okay. You know what? Bro, you guys weren't even there. Can we get the security, please? Like, come on. That is not rock, you moron. Sure, bro, you go and do your. That's why you get. Hey, yo. Boo fucking. Yeah, go back to live streaming. True. Yeah. Wow. Otoha still hasn't spoken. Damn. Rain Britain. Yeah. Yeah. Tina's like, will I have to do this? Okay. Yeah. Bruh. Oh yeah, they were saying something like that, right? Well, exactly. Like, yeah, you think you can do something? Yep. No, no, these guys need to get arrested. Like, really. Like, I genuinely think that. Their daddy can break them out of prison. They can do that then. Or also, wait a minute, I forgot. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do that. Nah, nah, he's gonna break the thing. Right. Break it. There you go. Thank you. Yeah. I was gonna say, can we get these guys arrested? I guess not, because these guys are rich. But whatever. Yeah, they want encore. What, you guys didn't understand the first time you went there? Are you guys that dumb? What is wrong with you? You need to see it again to understand the reality? Is that how much you guys are conditioned that, oh, you know what, everything is fine, everything will go well in our lives, nothing can stop us, we're rich, we can just throw money here and there and everything will work out? Right. Yeah, but that doesn't mean, you know, yeah, it's a different type of. Mm, bruh. Damn, even the. Bah. Yeah. Well, next, yeah, like we played in a live house. So next, maybe in a proper concert or something like a. Also, our opponent this time were ass. Yeah. What? No, but isn't didn't you say? Didn't she? Wasn't she the one who said that? No, like I think there should be a balance between the two. Like, you shouldn't just go along with the audience, completely disregarding what you want. Oh wow, I like the. No, no. Like I said, the balance. Yeah, she likes it. Well, you're the one who gave the answer. There you go. Yeah. Damn. Yeah. Yeah. What? Oh my god. All right. Yeah, she dropped the honorific. She used to call her Lisa son, right? Yeah. Whatever. Acting. Oh boy. You know what's funny? I just realized Tina's literally Moogie from Keon. Oh wow. Oh wow, each of them are like the colors, right? Each of the girls' colors, I think. All right, there you go. That was the final episode of this season. Now, there is a very, 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 very low possibility of this getting a sequel because as far as my knowledge goes of animes, these type of shows never get a second season. It's just it just happens and that's it. Um, but there is a, I don't know, like a 1 in 100 chance maybe, like maybe it gets something in the future. I guess it'll all depend on how good um, this, like how popular it is in Japan particularly. So yeah, that's what it matters. And I think that in the Western community this was pretty popular. I wouldn't say it like it was amazingly popular, like everyone's talking about it. Probably not, but it was decently popular as far as my knowledge goes. It had a decent enough rating, um, and yeah, everything is quite okay. It had good enough animations. It had good enough, like a really good like songs and stuff. Like, and there was a lot of things that this show did really well. So overall, I feel like it did pretty well in the Western anime community at least. I'm not sure about what how this show performed in Japan. You can let me know if you have any idea in the comments. So I guess based on that, maybe something in the future, but there is a very low chance. I don't see this getting a second season because these type of shows never get a second season. It's just yeah, it's just once and that's it. But this is a very good, a very solid rock, like a rock music anime, girls band anime, and yeah, it did its job very well. I would say probably this show focused more on the rock aspect, which I really like because there are a lot of other shows, but they don't really go that deep into the whole rock and roll thing. It does have its like fair share of songs and stuff, but that's it. But this fairly went a lot deeper into like how these girls felt about rock and roll in itself, how each of them had their own troubles, their own situations, familial situations and stuff, their own like their own thoughts about rock and how they changed in as the show went on. All these things it had, and I feel like it kind of focused more on the music aspect. Because just think about it. If you think about other shows like this, for example, let's just bring the most obvious one, Keon. Keon is more slice of life, I would say. It has obviously it has like like music part, the girls playing in the band together. But it Keon is mostly like I would say if I had to set a percentage to it, I would say Keon is 70% slice of life, 30% music, and rock maybe. Like yeah. So that's what Keon is. Let's take another show, for example. Yeah, you know what? Girls Band Cry is a lot more similar to this. Girls Band Cry also kind of focused more on the rock and roll aspect. So I guess this and Girls Band Cry would probably fall almost in the same category. But I would probably say Girls Band Cry had a more drama feel to it. It had, like the girls and their situations were more focused on, compared, like because I remember the main characters had like their own drama with their own situations. For example, what was her name? I forgot all the characters' name. The main character, she had the whole thing about her family, how like I think like as far as I can remember, it's been a while. I've forgotten a few things. As far as I can remember, she ran away from home or something. Like she left home. Yeah, she had her own thing with her parents and like all that stuff. Then we had the second main character, the guitarist, who had her own troubles with her previous band. So and then there was a lot of other characters who had their own things. like they had their own situations, all stuff. Those were more focused on, and then obviously we had the music as well. This show, however, I would say, like Girls Band Cry, like it was more to do with the characters and their thoughts about music, you would say, not like their situation with their family or something. Those were kind of non-existent here. Like it was there, it was hinted. For example, we literally have like what's her name, Lilisa and her own like situation in her family, her mother, her father, that whole thing. I thought they would actually explain about her father, at least, like what happened, where is he alive, is he dead, did he leave, what happened. They did nothing. None of that. They just showed that there's a little bit of a situation going on. We just don't know what the situation is. So it's not that it's non-existent. It is there, but they didn't really focus on that at all. I would say they kind of just showed it a little bit, only just enough necessary to move on the story. For example, they showed Lisa's family situation just necessary enough to bring in Alice into the equation. Because they had to explain like what's going on. To bring in Alice into their group and their equation, they had to give enough of a background, and they did that. They didn't go above and beyond that, and they brought in Alice into the whole equation, and that's it. So I guess maybe in the future, if we get another season, they'll focus on more on that. If the story continues, we'll probably focus on that. But this season, at least, yeah, we knew their familial situation. We knew what was going on. Maybe they were like struggling with something, all that stuff. It was just kind of mentioned. And what about the other characters? We know literally nothing about the other characters at all. Otoha, we literally know nothing about her. Who is her parents? Who is her, like who's in her family? What's going on? Is there anything she is struggling with? Nothing we know about. We just know, what we know about her is that she loves playing the drums, and that's it. And she's a bit crazy when it gets to drums. Same with Shiro. Very briefly, we know about Shiro, like that, like how her past, a little bit of her past, her interaction with Otoha and blah blah. That's it. Tina, a little bit we know. She's a model. That's it. She wants to become someone more independent. That is all. Nothing more than that. The thing that this show did is that bring all these like stuff background that is just necessary enough and introduce them so that they can focus more on the music in itself. So troubles related to music, they focus more on that. For example, Lilisa's whole thing of her wanting to, not wanting, but her being forced to give up on music, on the guitar, but she didn't want to do it. And then Otoha came into the story, and she was the one who, as Lilisa said in today's episode, she was the one who changed her life, made her understand. Like that you just play because you want to enjoy it, because you like it, and that's why I play drum. At least that's what she said. And like Lilisa also found her answer to her problems from that, and she got inspired by that. So yeah, all those things. Same with Otoha's situation of just being happy playing on her own, as she said. But then when Lilisa came in, she started enjoying her sessions with Lilisa, and then a few other people joined in. And then at the end, when she was thinking like, oh, like the audience, we have to make sure that the audience like it. Am I going to like it? Because like I don't want to play according to what the audience wants. Like I just want to play what I like to play. Like she was having like doubts. But then when she saw the audience like moving to her beat and everything, she was like, okay, this is something new, and this is something that I never thought I would like, but I actually like it. So yeah, that's what happened. So that was Otoha's thing. Tina's thing was something else, where she just wanted to be someone more independent and become more confident in herself and all that. And to do that, she wanted to start, but then by the middle of it, she genuinely realized that it's not because of that, but I genuinely like playing the keyboard. Want to go along with all these girls to the main stage and play along with them. I enjoy it. So she realized that, and then her whole goal changed from, oh, I want to be confident, to I want to play. Same with like similar thing with Shiro, where Shiro had her whole thing with bass, but then she changed her own instrument because she wanted to play with Otoha, because Otoha's the one who kind of inspired her. But then like later on, she realized that she loves playing the bass, and she would prefer continuing with the bass, but she wants to control the whole stage, like where people like Lilisa and Otha will go off on their own, but with her bass, she will be able to rein them in and make the whole performance more stable. That's what she likes doing. Um, and like all these things. So yeah, that those things were focused on. You know, so it's a bit different from Girls Band Cry. Both of them are absolutely amazing, and I would still probably say Girls Band Cry is probably my more favorite than, if I had to like rank all of these shows, I'd probably say Girls Band Cry is, I like Girls Band Cry more than Rock is a Lady's Modesty. This show was very good as well, but I don't know, there's something about Girls Band Cry that I don't know, it really made me so much attracted to the show. I don't know what it is, but it was something. That show had something in it that I cannot explain what it was. So so yeah. But anyways, Girls Band Cry was more, like I said, it's their situation not only related to music but other stuff as well. This one is that, yeah, these girls have other stuff as well, but they don't focus on that. They just focus on their troubles with music. So this, in a sense, you could say this is purely a show where each and every episode focused on music and rock and roll. So it's kind of new, I guess you could say, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Um, yeah, and like I said, I'm not sure if they're going to bring this back again. Probably not. I doubt we're getting a sequel, but like it'll be nice if we actually get something. Which I doubt. Okay, you know what? Let me just for the sake of it, let me just double check. Rock is a Lady's Modesty. I doubt there's any season 2 or anything announcement. I heavily doubt it. Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing. Never mind. Whatever. Yeah, I like I said, I doubt it's getting anything after this. But who knows? If this actually does very well in Japan, it might get something, because like if something sells, they'll definitely make more of it. If it's like normal sales, of if it's just like average sales, I doubt they're doing anything else. But yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that was Girls Band Cry. Really good show. I absolutely enjoyed it, and I really liked the whole, like the thing that really fascinated me and made me want to check this out is the whole Ojo Sama and Rock, which is like two completely different things, completely opposite things, and the fact that they were going to mix that up. It's kind of funny because I feel like the whole Ojo Sama thing kind of like went away completely at the from like at the very beginning of the few episodes. We were kind of like, oh, these girls are Ojo Samas and all that, but then we just forgot. Like in today's episode only, there were certain sections I completely forgot that these girls are actually rich. Like I actually forgot that. Like they're actually like rich ladies. I completely forgot that at the middle, or at the end there were certain sections where I was like, oh, wait a minute, yeah, these girls are also rich. Like like the when Bacchus, though when they were like acting smart, I was like, yeah, these girls are also rich. If required, they can smack them. you know, if they can just completely like do something to them, as like it's not that they're just going to like, what can I say, just wrongfully just accuse them of something and they're just going to take it. If required, these girls can also take their own steps because they also have enough money to throw at them. But I just forgot about that completely. I completely forgot about that. So like the whole Ojo Sama and Rock thing, it was there at the very beginning up until I think at least like the middle episodes. But then like it just kind of went away. We just completely forgot about the fact that, oh, these guys are actually Ojo Samas. They're like hiding this whole thing, and it completely went out of my mind. Right, but other than that, yeah, that is the one thing that really fascinated me to check out this show, and I'm glad I did, because it's not only that, it's something way more than that. Yeah, so there you go. So that's what I really enjoyed about this show. Like I said, it focuses more on music, which I actually like. It does something. It talks more about rock and roll in itself. It talks more about characters and their inner desires of wanting to do something but them not getting the opportunity to do that, but then they're just cannot let it go because they love it so much. Like Lilisa said today, literally, that oh, it must be easier for you guys, right? Like, whenever you want to, you just throw something away, and we are just stuck with rock and roll. We cannot even throw it away even if we want to, because we like it so damn much. Like, it must be so easy for you guys to just take something up and just throw it away when you don't like it, unlike us. And yeah, so it's like that. Like, each of the girls had their own thing, especially Lilisa with her whole dilemma about, oh, should I keep playing rock music, but if I do that, my mother will be unhappy, I won't be able to become a noble maiden, all that stuff. Yeah. Right. So there you go. So that's the, I guess, like I said, that is the really good part, that it really focused on the music aspect. But I feel like, like, it's kind of difficult to balance both of the stuff. Like, I feel like the other stuff, like, for example, we barely know anything about the characters except the main girls. There's so many other characters in this show, right? For example, the student council president, if you remember her. I always kind of wondered if she's going to be a character in the future who will actually, I don't know, who will be more, because I feel like there should be at least one or two characters in their school who would actually support them, and then get, because most shows go like that, like when there's a group or one or two few people hiding something and doing something, always it happens as when there's like a few other characters who shouldn't know get to know what they're doing, and they keep it hidden. Alice was one of them, but I feel like someone from their school, I always felt like someone from their school would realize that they're doing something like this, and they would actually like it, so they'll keep it quiet, just like Alice. I thought that would be the student council president, but like, we barely got to know much thing about the student council president, so I cannot really say. There was a part where, in that episode where Yayoi came in, the noble maiden girl, she came in, and I actually thought she would be one of those characters who would, like, from the background, support them or something, but we got to know what type of, she's definitely not that type of a character at all. So yeah, but like I said, I feel like I've always felt like the student council president would be one of those characters, but we barely got anything to know about them. I thought she would be more important and they'll show more about her, but so these are the things that I feel like the show could have really expanded on, but it didn't get enough time to do that. If this season had, like, I don't know, like 24 episodes or something, I feel like they could have done a really good job in fleshing out everything. So I guess it's just because they don't have enough time. um and everything will be okay if we get another season. Like I said, if we get another season, I feel like season 2 will probably flesh things up more. Like, we purely focused on music in this season. Maybe next season, if it gets something, maybe we'll get to know more about the background characters, what's the situation with Lisa's family, her mother. Maybe we'll get to know more about Otoha's family. Like, because we barely know anything about her. Like, just think about it. Every other character, we do know some things about them. What do we know about Otoha? Nothing. We literally know nothing about her. Who is her family? What's her parents, like, like, what's her family situation? What's going on with her? Nothing we know. She's an enigma, basically. Tina, we at least know her situation. She's a model. She has her family, this and that. Shiro, kind of similar to that. Lilisa, we know. Otto has nothing. We don't know nothing about her. We just know that she loves playing drums, and that's it. So yeah, all these things maybe in the next season, if we get any, which I doubt. Right. But yeah, so overall, solid show, solid anime. I do hope that we get something more, but like I said, there's a very low chance of getting anything after this. Right. Okay, so yeah, I just talked about the whole show in itself today. Let me talk about this episode at least now. In this episode, what happened is, obviously, now this is one thing that I was kind of skeptical about. I just didn't know how these girls are going to take their fan base away from them, but it was pretty simple. I guess you can say, because it didn't even take them like a minute to just convert a few of them fans into their group, because as soon as they started playing, you could see a lot of the girls were immediately, they were like, oh, this is actually quite good. So so it was pretty easy, I would say, you know. But at the same time, I feel like this was probably the easiest concert they had to do because the opponents that they were going against were absolute trash. So this is not going to be the same if they go to Fuji Rock or something similar to that. You know, their opponents will be as strong as them, and their fan base will be also as loyal to them as like it won't be like this. So it might seem like, oh damn, these girls are actually so good, they easily did this. But we have to remember that Bahas, as a rock music band, was absolute trash. So it wasn't at all difficult to take their fans away from them. It was pretty damn easy. So yeah, but in the future, we will probably have to do the same thing, but with groups who are of the equal standing with us, who are as strong as us, and who have as loyal fan base. So it'll be way more difficult. But as a starting step, this is good. We at least have like a good enough fan base now. And not only that, I feel like this. How many people were here? 300 or something, right? I forgot. This live house. Bahas has a way bigger fan base than that. I think Bahas's fan base, as they mentioned, was either 10,000 or 20,000, something like that. And not only that, people who do like you who are in YouTube, you'll probably understand. It doesn't only matter with subscribers. There's a lot of people who watch the videos of other people, but they're not even subscribed. So the subscriber count, the amount of fans that the group actually has, is way more than the subscriber count. If they have like 20,000 subscribers, they will probably have a 40,000 fan base, because half of them, or sometimes more than that, aren't even subscribed. So I feel like they got a good chunk of people on their side, because even if there's 300 people here, they will obviously discuss this with other fans, right? And it's going to spread. The whole thing is going to spread like wildfire. And other people will also be like, what the hell, you guys switched group this quickly? Show me, which group is it? Show me one of their music videos. And then probably listen to but they cannot do that because these girls are keeping it quiet. Yeah, they don't have any type of like music video or anything. They cannot do anything like that because they're trying to keep it hidden. I don't know, but I feel like some way or the other, the people that are here today, they will convert the other people who weren't able to come here, and who are still in the Bahas's fan base. So they actually got a good chunk of people on their side currently, and if this continues like this, they will get a sizable amount of fans because I'm sure these girls who came here, they'll keep an eye out for when Rock Lady is going to play again. Like, they will probably keep an eye out on that, and they'll probably ask the live the manager here. They'll probably be like, oh, when will they play again, something like that. If they get information that, oh, they will be playing again on this venue on this date, they will share that with people who weren't able to come, and so more people will come. In this way, it's probably going to spread. So even if they don't have any like social media account or music video or something, some way or the other, the fans will find a way to track them down and listen to their music, if they really enjoy it. So I feel like they will, they got a good chunk of people in their side now. But yeah, so in that sense, you could say this concert was a very good stepping stone. Now that we have a good fan base and quite a few amount of people know us, yeah, they will come, they will listen to our music, and more people will get to know in that way. Right. But yeah, so that's why at first I was thinking it'll be difficult, but they quite easily brought all of the girls on their side. Not only that, the fact that Bahas literally self-sabotaged them later on. The leader is acting like an absolute brat on stage, throwing the mic on the ground like that and acting like a little baby. Yeah, that definitely just destroyed the little amount of reputation they had at that point. And there you go. Right, and yeah, so we had the concert today, and then Bahas acted like a little big group of babies. acting as if, like a self-entitled little, yeah. But then the manager, not manager, yeah, manager, right? That guy, he also destroyed the SD card and all that, and there you go. Everything worked out pretty well. I doubt they're ever going to go back to music. They'll probably just go back to streaming, and I doubt how many people after this stunt that they did today are going to go back and watch their streams again, because the one girl you can see who was very much devoted to them, even she got weirded out at the end where when the leader smacked their mic on the ground. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that the group lost their fan base instantly today. Um, right, but there'll still probably be a few people watching them. They can go back to live streaming and do whatever. Also, these guys, like I said, these guys are rich, and with their attitude, you can see they when something will stop giving them attention, they'll probably just throw it away. That's the type of people they are. They thought that, oh my god, making music, ooh, this is going to be give us attention. As soon as they realize that they're absolute ass and they cannot compete with actual professionals, they're like, oh, what? I can just like throw this away and not do this anymore. So I feel like streaming probably is similar to that. If they go back and they realize that their fan base is like halved, literally half of them are just gone, or maybe more than half of them are gone, and they don't have enough people watching them anymore, they'll probably just abandon it and just do whatever else that gives them attention. So that's what's going to happen. So like, yeah, I don't even feel bad for them. They're just like this, so they can do whatever the hell they want to. It's not that these things were their passion, like Lisa and the other girls, their rock music is their passion. It's not like that. They're just doing this for whatever gives them attention. So I'm sure they can find other ways to get more attention, and they'll probably switch to that if they realize that streaming is not doing it for them. So there you go. Right. I have the part at the end where each and every bandmate literally abused them verbally. you know and what else? Yeah. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about here is Otoha. So Otoha's situation is interesting. So you can see here that, as Otoha says, that at the beginning I was just happy with just banging on my drums on my own. But then Lisa, like, it came and introduced to a lot of things to me. I realized that playing with Lisa is more fun. So, that's how I went along with the whole thing. And yeah, but then this episode at least brought like a new like a, what can I say, like a roadblock in her path, where she was like, oh, I have to play and make sure that the audience also likes it. Well, I don't want that. I just want to have fun myself. Will it be enjoyable for me? So she was confused. She didn't think she would like it. But then when Lisa was like, just follow me, I'm sure you'll like it, she did it, and now she is, as Lisa said, awakened to like a new sensation, which is like, oh, this is actually quite good. Seeing the audience respond to my music is a different type of like feel good thing, and I enjoy it pretty much. So it's like that. So it's basically like how sometimes you have something that you like very much, and you think that something else which is similar to that, you wouldn't like it that much, so you try to avoid it deliberately, and you don't want to try that at all, and you're like, oh, I like this thing, and that thing, yeah, maybe I'll, but I'm not really that interested in it. I don't think it'll be as good as this thing. So you just deliberately like be blind to that, and then someone else comes and they kind of forcefully introduce that to you, and you, even though you don't want to get introduced to that, you're just, because your friend is telling you to watch it, you're like, okay, whatever, I'll give it a try. And then you give it a try, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is actually quite good. That kind of thing It's like that. This is basically that, you could say, like, like Otoha's situation, where she was just thinking that I'm not going to like anything other than just playing for myself. But when she started playing for others, she was like, okay, this is not a similar sensation to what I felt when I played for myself. But this sensation in itself is not that bad. It's actually pretty good. And let me see, like, let me focus more on that now. It's basically like that. So yeah, that's why Otoha, in the end, you can say, and you could say that, some, like, people who are very passionate about something, this is something I feel like that happens to them. When people are very passionate about something, when they get introduced to something new which they also like, sometimes they kind of forget where, like, where they came from, like where it started from, and they start focusing on the new thing so much that they forget their roots, in that sense. So I feel like something similar was actually happening in today's episode at the end, where Otowa was saying, like, oh, so then should we like change our music band from an instrumental to a vocal, because because now that I know that making the audience enjoy my music is so good, so I feel like we should focus more on that and do what the audience want us, like, maybe like bring a vocalist or something. So she, from someone who's like, I don't care about anyone else, I just want to focus on me, to this is a drastic leap. And that's what I said, like, when someone's passionate about something, when they get something new, some new thing, when they realize that, oh, this thing holds the same potential as the thing that I'm passionate about, they kind of forget, what it, like, their core values, and they try to go too deep into that, sometimes making mistakes. This probably would be one of those mistakes where if she actually decided to bring vocalists in, she would be forgetting her roots. And I don't think that is okay. Some, like, so a proper balance, like as Elisa said, that no, why should we do that, like, like, there's no need to do that. Yeah, I can understand you now want to find more ways to make the audience enjoy your music. That doesn't mean you're going to just forget everything that, like, your core values, your core stuff that you, like, focus on. You shouldn't just forget that and just, like, compromise that to do something new. So the proper balance is required, and that's why Lilisa said in the end that no, we shouldn't do that. The whole point of this is making an instrumental only band, to showing the world that, even this is something, well worth, yeah. So let's not do that. And, you know yeah, something like that. In the end, we can also see how, like, just like how Otoha thinks that Lisa changed her world by introducing her to so many new things. Lisa also kind of told her that you are also someone who did change my world as well, where I was ready to give up on guitar, and you made me understand that, like, I should play this because I like it. So, in a nutshell, you could say each of them had like an extreme of the other spectrum, you know, so they didn't know the other spectrum. Like, like, you could say, like, Lilisa was more of the type of girl who was like, oh, I like guitar, but I should focus more on what other people think of me and what other people want of me. That's why, because of her mother's situation, she wanted to just give up music even if she wants to play music. So she was on that end of the spectrum. Otoha was on the other end of the spectrum, where she was like, I literally do not care about anyone. I just want to make myself happy. I like playing music, that pleasures me, so I'm going to do that. It's for my own pleasure. She was on that end of the spectrum. So when these two met, each of them introduced the other side of the spectrum to the other person's world, you know, and that kind of stabilized both of them, where each of them were like very much highly on each side, tipping the balance. But now that each of them came to others' world, they introduced the other side of the scale, balancing them in a better way. So Lilisa balanced Otoha's situation, where Otoha was like, I don't care about anyone, but Lisa came into her world and showed her how other people also matter. Similarly, like, Otoha balanced Lilisa, where Lilisa was always like, yeah, I like music, but I'm going to give it up because everyone expects something else from me. But Otoha came and made her realize that that's not it. You should do it because you enjoy it. So you should focus on yourself as well. So she introduced that end of the spectrum to her. Each of them introduced the other end of the spectrum in their lives, which made them complete and more balanced. And I guess in a way you could say that is why in literally in the first episode I think these two say that, like I met my like, lifelong partner or something like that, they said, right? So, in a way you could say each of them complete each other, and each of them made them understand the other side of the balance, which they were lacking. They were just tipping on one side, so each of them balanced each other in a way. So yeah, that's what happened. Right. And yeah, that was beautifully like expressed at the end of today's episode, where that whole scene where Lilisa and Otoha talk to each other. Right. Okay. And yeah, there you go. That was today's episode. Is there anything else to discuss? No, nothing else to discuss. I really enjoyed the music part as well. That the whole section, the concert section, was done really well. Where they kind of showed, like at first they were just, you could see how they were doing it. Like, I don't know if this was deliberate, but I feel like because how they so many times mentioned that instrumental only is a bit difficult for people to understand, is because since you don't have a vocalist, you don't know where to focus on. Maybe that's why they kind of did it in this way, where you can see like the spotlight was on one of the girls at a time. So at first we were seeing Lisa playing, and her like guitar was more prominent than the other instruments. So the girls were like focusing on her. Then she kind of moved the spotlight to Tina, where you can see the keyboard is getting more prominent. So they are focusing on Tina. Then to Shiro. It didn't really go to Otoha after that, because at that point of time Otoha was still a little bit depressed at that time. She was thinking of like just giving up. But these three girls, at least it was going back and forth between them. So maybe it was easier for the audience to focus on one of them, so that they can appreciate them. Like a lot of the girls really like Lisa's like overly aggressive playing. Then we had the spotlight moved to Tina, where Tina has with her whole like princely aura, like charmed a lot of them. Then we moved on to Shiro, who was this, like this whole like, oh, I don't care about you, that type of attitude, which these girls loved it. Yeah, so it was going like that. Not only that, like that section was really good as well, where you can see that Otoha was like, everyone else was playing, but Otoha was just like all alone in like a white background, like a gray background, like empty space. She was just playing, and she was thinking like, oh, I don't like this. I'm going to just, stop. Like, I'm not going to play with them from here onwards. I'm going to go away from the band. All of these things she was thinking all alone. But then, like, the cracks started coming in, and then Lisa's guitar just became so much more prominent. And she dragged her out of that, and she was like, come on, like, just play. I'm not liking this. I'm not enjoying this. Play. And yeah, and then when she started playing properly and she focused on the audience, she experienced and she realized she unlocked a new type of feeling that she never thought she would get, which is her realizing that the audience is moving according to her rhythm. And she started like realizing how good that is. So yeah, and that's how she got into the zone herself, and she started playing properly along with the others. And when everyone was playing in there with their 100%, that's where they showed that part where each of the girls were like like stars, shooting stars, like just going back and forth. And like that whole section was very well done. I really like the artistic way they decided to show that part, where each of them were like a shooting star into the galaxy. They were just you know right. And their name, obviously, Rock Lady, pretty simple. Obviously, lady is like Ojo-sama, I guess. Rock is rock. So if it's a very simple name, but it's a very I don't know, I feel like they could have said Rock Ladies. Wouldn't that be better? Like Rock Lady seems a bit, I don't know. Rock Ladies, nah, Rock Lady. And you know what, nah, Rock Lady is fine. Ladies is like just it's a name, like, so I don't think we should add like plural, like plural form of a noun into a name. So Rock Lady is okay, I think. Yeah. Um, right. There you go. And yeah, so that part was really well done. I absolutely loved it. And obviously then the next part was the whole Bajas situation. I genuinely thought they were going to, oh yeah, and they did off screen them. I was saying that they're going to off screen them, because I was like, they're showing like like Rock Lady's performance first. So I was like, that's a bit weird, because usually in these type of shows, in these type of situations, the characters are shown first who usually lose, and then the final, like the next character comes in, where they completely destroy the the whole performance and just do so well, and it's like a crazy finish they do. The fact that Rock Lady was playing at the beginning, I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. But then I realized, like, only there's one time when like the winning group participates first. It only happens when the next group that comes in gets off screened completely. And I was like, yeah, they are going to off screen their whole performance, because the after listening to Rock Lady, others won't listen to them at all. And they literally did that. They didn't even off screen them. That they didn't even play. Bahas didn't even play. They tried to sing a little bit. The guy got pissed off, slammed his mic into the ground, and just left. So it wasn't even off screen. These guys didn't even participate. They just left in the mid show. So there you go. That's what happened. And yeah, and obviously they were acting all bratty and everything, and like Otoha's bodyguard comes in and just slams him into the ground. Their manager also breaks their SD card, so all well and good. Right, and then all the other girls were like, oh, like bring them back, and like they were asking for encore and everything. So there you go. Right, and then the final section with Lilisa and Otoha talking to each other about that part. I talked about that section. And yeah, and that's where it ended. So really good show. I absolutely loved it, and it was a solid ending episode, I would say. So that is it. That was my reaction to episode number 13 of Rock is a Lady's Modesty. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. And that is it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next anime that will replace that. I will make a video soon talking about all the animes that I'll be reacting to next season. So obviously another seasonal show will replace this. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.